What's going on, guys? Welcome on back to Second and Short. My name is Tyler Louder, and it is time to talk about more NFL action. On this week's episode, we're going to dive into a lot of different things, potentially, but the main focus here is going to be breaking down some news sources, some speculations, and I'm going to kind of critique these articles that I'm seeing and kind of review them with you guys along and just give you guys my take on whether or not I think this is likely or there's no chance in hell that it actually happens. So what I'm breaking down today is the Bleacher Reports, the 7 most plausible 2021 NFL trades that are going to happen during the draft. Now, we're just going to jump right in. In this, they go over 7 different trades that involve multiple different types of teams, involve players on both sides of the ball. And starting off first is the Baltimore Ravens are going to be sending Orlando Brown Jr. and the number 27 pick to the Minnesota Vikings for the number 14 pick 125, and a future 2022 second-round pick. So let's break it down from both sides. First, the Baltimore Ravens. Orlando Brown Jr. has stated that he wants to play left tackle in the NFL. Instead of kind of doing what your role is and what's next and what's best for your team, he wants to go in a certain direction, and the Baltimore Ravens already have Ronnie Stanley there, and they've been gifted with these 2 tackles that they scouted and they found and they drafted. And yeah, I mean, Brown just wants to play on the left tackle. He wants to be a blindside. I feel like he just wants to live up to this legacy. And this deal here would be great for the Baltimore Ravens in a player that is not happy with the situation. They can kind of move on. They can take a huge leap in the draft, plus gain some extra draft capital on top of that. Then at the 14th pick, I mean, they could take somebody like Rashawn Slater, Christian Darrisaw. There are options there for them at tackle that they could take and replace him instantly, as well as getting other picks that they couldn't do at 27. For the Minnesota Vikings, they don't have to wait and just like get a rookie offensive lineman. I mean, potentially those linemen go fast and they would miss out anyways, but I doubt it. This is a very deep class. I could see like 7 or 8 offensive linemen going in the first round. However, they get a guy that is ready to step in day one and protect Kirk Cousins. I've been saying this for the longest time. Vikings fans, you are very unappreciative of Kirk Cousins, at least half of you are, because he has about a combined 1.9 seconds every snap to throw the ball before he's pressured or got to get hit. And yet he still delivers. If he has more time back there, he's going to be able to deliver more big play situations and get you guys potentially wins that you're not getting now because he can't get blocked. He's constantly under pressure. So for me, this deal seems very likely to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen come time that the Vikings are on the clock. If they don't pull the trigger earlier, I will be very surprised if Orlando Brown Jr. does not get traded while the Baltimore Ravens want to move up. The second trade here is they have the Cleveland Browns sending away David Njoku to the Jets, and in return, they're going to swap picks in the first round. That's it. They got Njoku in the 26th pick going to the Jets, and the Browns get the 23rd pick. They get to get rid of a tight end that's not really performing for them. He's got his 5th-year option, and it's already guaranteed, but the relationship is damaged. The performer is not developing and delivering on his side of the bargain, so just be best for everybody to move on. Jets have Chris Herndon, who can't really stay healthy and can't just stay on the field. He's got situations going on, and Njoku provides maybe like a new situation, could give him a breath of fresh air. And with that being said, the Browns get to move up a little bit, pretty much for nothing because they already have Austin Hooper. They don't really use Njoku the way that maybe he should be used. And on top of that, they have 2020 4th-round pick Harrison Bryant already on the roster. So he's expendable. Moving up a couple spots makes sense. I don't ever see trades like this happen. It's very rare that like this is like a Madden type of trade where you're like, oh, I got to get this guy. I'll just send him this extra player and they'll push it through. But I could more see this trade going down with like Njoku going for like a conditional like 7th round pick to the Jets. I think that's more likely. But either way, I wouldn't be surprised to see Njoku traded. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Jets trying to gain more players and draft capital moving back because they are rebuilding and retooling. So if they can get more players into the building, I think that's better for them in a new direction. The New England Patriots trade away Stefan Gilmore to the Cleveland Browns. So the Browns are involved in another trade here. And what the Patriots get is they get out of that Stephen Gilmore contract. He's due, I think, like $15 million. And there's speculation saying, like, if the Patriots aren't ready to compete right now, they need to get rid of him and move on, because it doesn't make sense to pay somebody that much money if you're not going to be competing at the highest level. Even though I do think the Patriots are a playoff team next year, I wouldn't be surprised to see this move. We've seen Belichick do this time and time again. He is the Gary Vee of the NFL. He will take something from you at a different price that's cheaper, and then he will turn around and sell it for a higher price. He does this all the time. Or he'll convince you to give him something, a player that you'd want to, hey, I want your first round pick for this. Well, I'll give you a third. Okay, fine, Bill. That's fine. We'll do it. And the deal here is that the Browns get Stephen Gilmore, and the Patriots get the 89th pick in the third round and a 2022 third round pick. Seems pretty fair, balanced both ways. I don't know how the Browns, they just signed Jadeveon Clowney for $10 million, so I don't know how their cap situation sits. I'm not going to be surprised if they go out and get a guy. If they don't do a trade like this, I could see them going out and getting Richard Sherman. It makes sense to me. For the Patriots, they do something they always do. They move on. They turn guys around, get picks. For the Browns, they become the most dangerous team in the NFL. It makes sense for me. Will it happen? I say this is probable. I could easily see this happening. And what do you know? We go from the Browns having back-to-back trades. Now the New England Patriots are going to trade again. The New England Patriots are trading up in round 1. Now, I believe that they are going to make a move. I think that this is something that could happen at pick 4, pick 6, pick 7, pick 8, pick 9. It could happen any of those spots that they can move up. And actually, I am in one of my dynasty football leagues right now. Every year, I like to kind of get together and put this thing together with all the GMs that want to do it. And we kind of do like a community mock where each person kind of takes over a certain number of teams. It's random, and you kind of just pick and draft and everything. And you can do trades as long as both owners agree, and we kind of follow the chart. And we actually traded the number 8 pick from the Carolina Panthers to the New England Patriots. And that's what they have here as well. So we've already delivered this. We've already seen what could happen. We've done the numbers. The Patriots get the number 8 pick. Signs fall the way they are and everything goes. The 4th or 5th best quarterback will be available at 8. And if they are, Patriots can jump up, get them, whether that's Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, whatever. They can jump ahead of Denver. Let's say Denver doesn't trade up or whoever, and then guaranteed get their guy. And if they get a guy that they like, then they can move forward with Cam Newton for a year, mentor, replace, and then push and build a new dynasty. For the Panthers, they get the number 15 pick, picks 122 and 197, and a 2022 first-round pick. For the Carolina Panthers, there's one situation that I have playing out that I think is ideal for them to trade down. If 4 quarterbacks go off the board, and then we see Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts, and Penei Sewell come off the board as well, I think it would be better and beneficial for the Panthers to trade down, especially since they just sent away 3 picks for Sam Darnold. Here, they fall back down, and they pretty much regain all those picks, except for they improve their 2022 second to a first. So everything kind of gets better for them. And in return, they can build from the 15 spot. Now, why I think this trade is beneficial for both teams is because Patriots get their quarterback. And for the Panthers, they can get, a second or third tier tackle at 15. They can get whoever falls, because from pick 9 to 14, we're going to see a couple tackles go. We might see some corners. We're going to see a linebacker. Based on my predictions of this scenario, Parsons would still be there. And I could easily see one of those cornerbacks or tackles falling to 15 and Carolina just picking them up like they would have done at 8 anyways. All right, so we see a trend going on here. Browns, Patriots, Panthers. Well, in this scenario, the Denver Broncos were unsuccessful at trading up to number 4. And they need to get a quarterback because the Drew Lock experiment is just an experiment. It's not anything to be taken serious. You're just seeing what would happen if this guy played quarterback. And I have said time and time again, and I will never stop saying this, that Drew Lock is not the next guy. That Drew Lock is not the guy for you. He's just the next guy in line until the guy comes along. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is the guy, but that's what they have going on here. The Denver Broncos send their 3rd round pick, number 71. Carolina Panthers send Teddy Bridgewater. Based on what we just saw Darnold go for, which was, a 6th, a 2nd, and a 4th in the future, I think a 3rd overall for Teddy is more than fair. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a little bit lower and go 4th round, but either way, if the Broncos send this 3rd round pick, it's beneficial for Carolina because Teddy Bridgewater is due a lot of money. I mean, if he's on their roster week 1, he goes from $10 million guaranteed to $17 million guaranteed on top of his salary. And I just think that it'd be beneficial for them to move forward with Sam Darnold. And you can, you have other quarterbacks in the house that you can tailor and that are younger. Teddy Bridgewater is not going to be there for the long haul. Get what you can, move forward. This is a win for both teams. Denver gets a new, fresh look, a guy that's more accurate, and a guy that is able to kind of get you first downs. He doesn't have that game-winning drive mentality yet, but he's a better quarterback than Drew Lock, and I'll stand by that every day. Okay, now let's reverse that scenario. The Denver Broncos don't trade for Teddy Bridgewater because they were successful in trading up to number 4. So this trend we got going on here, we got Browns, Pats, Panthers, Broncos. Like, the creativity here is very, But you know what? When these certain teams are speculated to trade, I expect them to kind of be in multiple situations. So we know the Falcons and the Lions are both open to moving down. Ideally, if somebody wants to get a quarterback, 4 is the ideal spot because we know quarterbacks are going to go 1, 2, 3. If you're happy with guy 4 or 5 and you're like, I'll take whatever one of these guys I get because I think they're all going to be good. And odds are they won't. But if you believe that, then going to 4 is the best bet for you. And they have the Denver Broncos getting the number 4 pick, moving all the way up to take whatever quarterback they want that falls to them between Jones, Lance, and Fields. And the Atlanta Falcons fall down to 9, gain the 40th pick, 114th pick, and a 2022 second-round pick, essentially getting a 1, 2, 4 in future second. I think this deal's a little light. If I'm the Atlanta Falcons, I'm only moving down if I'm getting – the 9th pick is a great spot to be in for them. But I'm only moving down if I get a later pick, like late day 2, early day 3, as well as a first-round pick next year. That number 4 pick is extremely valuable. And the Atlanta Falcons could trade with the New England Patriots or even the Chicago Bears or the Washington football team and gain even more than they can with Denver. This trade doesn't seem very likely to me based on the offer. However, I think the move is going to happen. I do. And if it doesn't happen, hopefully Denver trades for Teddy Bridgewater and they can move forward there. But I think Atlanta would be foolish to trade down 5 spots, especially since the team's coming to get a quarterback and not get an extra first-round pick next year. Now, we just talked about this. We just kind of highlighted the Detroit Lions are open and willing to trade down. So who would be their trade partner to move up to 7? That is none other than the Los Angeles Chargers, who would move up to number 7, giving up an extra first-round pick next year from 13. For the Lions, this makes sense because the Lions are nowhere near ready to compete. Jared Goff doesn't have enough weapons around him. The offensive line is like meh. The linebackers are okay. The cornerbacks are meh. Like it's a mess of a team, and they need a lot of things. So if you can trade back, gain another first-round pick next year, put you at 3 after the Rams trade, that's going to set you in a way better spot, and they can still get a good receiver, maybe Jalen Waddle, maybe Devontae Smith falls at number 13. For the Los Angeles Chargers, though, they get to move up and they get to protect, they get to continue to protect brand new quarterback Justin Herbert, who's looked pretty good this past year. And let's just say that, they don't think somebody's going to fall to 13 to them. They want to trade up and they want to get Penei Sewell or Slater because Sewell's not going to make it past Carolina, I don't think, at 8. That's a great move for them. They get their premier left tackle, pairing up with Corey Lindsey that they just got. They are building this line, and they are doing – this is exactly what you're supposed to do when you get a new rookie quarterback. And I think if you're a Chargers fan right now, you've got to be thrilled with how well your team is protecting your quarterback and willing to work with him. And that's it for the article. Big props to Christopher Knox of the Bleacher Report, who we critiqued and broke down his list. I think a lot of these trades are very likely to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if 3 or 4 of these actually came true with the actual deals and teams needed in them. And that's going to do it for us here on Second and Short. Very short episode. This week, got a lot going on. I mean, school is winding down for me, and I'm almost at the graduation point. So these episodes will be kind of shorter for the next couple of weeks. And then once we hit the NFL draft, we are going to boom. But make sure you guys take some time. Go check us out on Facebook. All the episodes are posted there, all news updates. We're also on Twitter. We're running polls all the time, asking you guys questions, kind of getting your feedback on what you guys think is going on in the NFL. Instagram, posting brand new stuff all the time, and TikTok, where we post daily content on TikTok. going over every NFL team's best offseason move right now, as well as all news updates, and be ready for the return of YouTube's New Edition series, where we're going to break down the top 25 new additions in the NFL to their teams and the impact we think they're going to have. That's it for me. Thank you guys for listening, and you guys have a great day.